need a recap. I'm going to try to be as brief and descriptive at the same time. You guys were traveling to Ankashar because Bernadette had a security breach. Somebody tried to steal one of the Hearts of the Sea. The Hearts of the Sea being utilized to help take down Zolkizik, coming from the Triton side of issues in the world. A Kraken who is terrorizing cities and towns, and who Sylvia has a great deal of hatred against. So you guys were traveling to Ankashar, trying to get some answers regarding why it was moved, what exactly was going on. There you were met with two Tritons as well as Carlisle, who helped not guide but to accompany the Tritons on their journey, and as well to meet you as well, because he was trying to reach out to you, and he knew you were coming to Ankashar, and eventually, I think within a couple days, Lord Fair Isle met with the Tritons and yourselves to discuss where to go from there. He held up his side in regards to the holding of the Heart of the Sea in exchange for work. Now, this wasn't exactly the strict terms and conditions that the Tritons had with Bernadette, but he was not being malicious. He was not holding it for a ransom, or wasn't holding it in exchange for something out of reach for the Tritons. This was a simple, I have a job for you to investigate, because it seems like my men haven't found anything, and in exchange, I will give you the Heart of the Sea. And it seemed pretty straightforward. I remember you guys having questions regarding what you were sent out to do, and Fair Isle's aide, Crete, explained in brief that disappearances have been occurring all over Ankashar and surrounding areas, as well as Decimity, for the last at least 100 years. These children and young adults that were going missing, mostly male, ages average in between 8 to 17. These young adults would go missing. Some of them would be found on the streets of Ankashar wandering, seemingly either mute or crazed or memory wiped.
They tripping.
There are several things that a lot of these cases have in common, and some things that are specific to each case. However, due to the amount of evidence that was currently obtained and has been obtained, the people of Ankashar, specifically the higher-ups in law enforcement and with the king, or with the Lord, believe that these are all connected to something. After having a discussion with Crete, you guys had inquired where to go from here. With all the evidence that was available, and kind of getting a rough sort of consensus on what exactly is going on, because this stuff has been going on for such a long time, it would take quite a long time to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of everything. But what were the next steps, were your questions essentially. Crete explained that there are several avenues of approach to the situation at hand. One is to travel to Decimity through teleportation and touch base with the team there that are currently investigating the same sort of happenings that are going on in Decimity. The happenings being in Decimity and Ankashar being fairly similar enough for Ankashar to, of course, send people out and investigate. So to touch base with the individuals there, as well as investigate the local happenings, what's been going on here for the last 100 years, specifically through historical documentation at the Mages College that you could dive into local newspapers and articles and stuff like that. Stuff that material that would be easier to obtain through reading and not all sitting down and having Creed explained it to you. There is a third avenue as well. The detective, the lead investigator, Marty. Which,
McFly, perhaps?
yeah, middle name McFly, who resides at the local precinct and has been the lead investigator for quite some time. Though you don't know anything about him, you've never met him, never heard him brought up. But those are three sort of options the party has going right now, and we are going to pick up not too long after you had the discussion with Crete, as dusk has settled fairly recently. Sorry, we should be here. As you all gather around in the lobby area, right, next to your guys' rooms, trying to discuss what the next moves are. There's still enough time in the night to sort of take one of these avenues of approach.
Tokens with vision in this scene.
I'm good.
Can everybody else see?
You are right next to me, so.
Do I need to re-add you, Rep?
Barely.
It says he's not in the scene, yeah.
Oh, I'm in the gardens for some reason. I'm moving myself. Wait.
We are supposed to be. Yeah, he's not in the scene. We're in Emerald
There he
Palace.
goes. There he goes.
Yeah.
Where we are.
I don't know why you weren't moved. I pulled everybody.
Well, it probably hadn't finished loading yet.
So, with this newfound information, does anybody have any prerequisite questions before we move on, or before we get into this session tonight?
Oh,
Just as
please give me. I'll be right back.
There you go.
anybody need clarification on anything, or
So, we're going to. Our destination is where again? And we're going to pick up.
Yosemite.
there's
Yosemite.
three options. There's Yosemite. There's the local precinct to talk to Marty, the lead investigator, and then there's the Mages College.
I see.
I can go by the Mages College.
Yeah, we could split for our town needs, and then we can regroup for our travels.
Something we should look into is acquiring some more potions.
Yes.
Maybe they can supply us with some since they're sending us on this mission.
So, gathering around shortly after having the discussion with Crete leaves. You come out into the main lobby and have sort of a roundtable discussion as to where to go next.
I vote that we sit in the couches.
As Ildor proceeds to go sit on a couch and everybody else stands where they are. Konorak, the Triton next to you, Sylvia. Listen, we know you've traveled long and far. He looks over at Jasper. Let us travel to Yosemite in your stead. I know you have some business here, and if it's just touching base with their individuals, I can't imagine them having much news considering how long this has been going on, but we've only traveled a few hundred miles from the sea as we live just off the coast here. Why don't you take rest?
If you find more in Yosemite and actually find leads, what should we do from there?
Well, if there's any news, then perhaps we spend a day there. It depends on what they find. I mean, if they have anything, we would investigate, but of course, we don't want to intrude in their investigation. We'll just simply come back and relay the information to this Marty individual, the lead investigator. But like I said, I can't imagine them having much. But it has been a year, so who knows?
Very well.
Is everybody in agreement with that? Is everybody okay with that?
Matters not to me.
I don't think that we would really be missing out on a whole lot if you guys came back.
Do you have any way to quickly contact us if anything goes wrong? Like what method of communication do you have?
With it being so far away, I don't know if there would be any sort of non-magical communication, of course, and even if there was magical, I don't know of anything that would relay across the world like that.
Sending.
Yeah, that's right. Sending I can cast to you, and then we both can relay a short message to each other.
Well, if you can do that, then let's just make it halfway, say noon tomorrow,
Sure.
as an update.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, you lot can sort of split up and see what you guys can find, and as stated, Sylvia, we'll radio in noon o'clock.
The limit on how many words you can speak with sending telepathically is 25 words.
Noted. Jasper just kind of nods.
Has Jasper talked once, by the way?
He's more so of like accompanying Konorak. Konorak is the more senior person, and Konorak's just been kind of taking the lead.
So he's kind of like the apprentice in this scenario.
That's not totally out of the realm of possibility.
Experienced one.
That's not totally out of the realm of possibility, but it's there's definitely a structure here that you're noticing that with this group and perhaps even this tribe of Tritons, there is definitely a structure. Konorak's been kind of being the one to talk, and Jasper, yeah, he's kind of there as more so of like a side, as help essentially.
Okay. I was just curious if I had noticed, because of course Ildor doesn't know a whole lot about Triton social structure. Even though we've been traveling with Sylvia, it hasn't really come up. So
Konorak says, well,
Yeah.
I'm going to go speak to the bird. Hopefully he can get us out of here, and we report back noon. If we need to come back earlier, so be it. We'll keep you all on the loop.
I appreciate it. Good luck and safe travels.
Likewise. As they proceed up the stairs.
here we go, boys. Let's get some quality cat camp footage during the Discord.
I volunteer to go to Marty. Anyone want to accompany me?
I mean, do we really have any other local leads here?
Mages Guild,
Mages Guild.
which is where I'll be heading.
The Mages College houses
Mages College.
houses documentation like locally that you can maybe read up on some occurrences that have happened in the area. And then, yeah, Marty would be more so the face-to-face kind of like getting information. Both are equally sort of, at this point, beneficial as this is your foundation, this is your starting point.
I guess I could go with you.
Carlisle should go along with Anarion since he has, what is that? Comprehend languages?
That's not a bad idea. Carlisle speaks up. Honestly, I'm down to go wherever. I don't know how I feel about splitting up, but I guess that would kind of help out, depending on what information we get.
Well, I mean, you know, just like Sylvia said, she does have access to the sending message, and you know, if we're planning on using it tomorrow, you know, there's no reason why she couldn't use it today too.
Yeah.
And if there's something important that we need to, suddenly, we could set a time, just like we're doing for tomorrow, to communicate with them. Maybe in 2 hours or something. We can check in with each other, see if you found it useful information. We can kind of set a meetup or something.
Carlisle looks over at Cecilia, looking for some sort of confirmation in her eyes. She's okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
Then I'll go with you, Sylvia.
Arosi?
What about you, Arosi?
Well, I suppose I'll go with you, Sylvia, and Iljor. I've got nowhere else to go.
Sure.
So Sylvia, Iljor, and Arosi are going to see Marty, the detective, and Anarian and Carlisle are to the Mages College. Am I correct?
So,
Were we already told those locations, like where they are?
Yes, the information was provided to you. So,
Have we actually seen a map of the city yet?
no, I do not have a map
Or
of the
do you
city.
not have one?
I do not
Okay.
have one. So, with that in mind, still having a bit of energy before night totally settles, because it's still fairly early on in the night, you guys exit the Emerald Palace grounds on your way to your respective locations. And now,
I'm just gonna be like chatting as we're walking. Like,
we will commence.
guys, it never really struck me that we just slept for the night in a literal palace. Like, that really just sunk in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a
it's
little
not
bit.
as great as you
I
think.
mean, I've been enjoying it. This is a really lucky occasion.
I have never slept in so soft of beds, though.
This is
Better
an
than
immaculate
dirt
experience. Immaculate experience for Iljor.
The baths are wonderful.
Yeah, I've never experienced anything like this before.
Well, as we get in to the investigation behind the missing persons of Ankashar, let's bring us to...
Oh yeah, the noir music.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's bring us to the city streets.
In these streets. This is making me think of Shadow of Doubt.
So,
Good game.
as everybody's kind of loading in to this particular scene, which I think everybody can see, correct?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yep.
I'm still loading. I might need to reload.
I'm loading.
Yeah,
too.
I reloaded as well. I got to 98 and it stopped.
I can see
But I'm
you
good now.
just fine.
What's the reload button?
Control R.
Control R, yeah. You could also, I think, if you hit escape, there's it brings up a small options menu.
I'm
Yeah.
loaded.
Either log out or reload application. Not a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
reloaded and
options.
it worked.
So, walking down the streets of Ankashar, and with the location of the local law enforcement office in mind, the three individuals, Sylvia, Iljor, and Arosi, walk to the local precinct, which is not too far from the Emerald Palace. The darkness of the night obscures the hideousness of Ankashar's true self. The journey takes you down less thoroughly traveled cobblestone roads and through properties segregated by income. A lone torchlit door resides on the west side of the precinct, illuminating the abnormal grain of the wood. This piece of property, deep within the city, in a rough area, stands different from its surroundings. You recognize this place as what was described as the precinct, and a lone door stands before you.
Well, here goes nothing.
I walk up and open the door.
Stepping through the door, you're met with a somewhat small, open lobby. The room is well lit, with the exception of several dark corners where dust particles are seen floating through the air. The scene is near silent, except for the sounds of the pages of a book being sifted through by a lone female dwarf behind the counter. Your presence either ignored or seemingly unnoticed, as her eyes are glued to her pages.
I walk up close to the counter.
Still?
I was told there was a Marty here.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, you scared me. You're here to see whom?
Marty.
Detective Constance.
Yeah.
She closes the book, places it on the desk before her, kind of gets up. This kind of separated by like a few glass panels, as there seems to be some minor security measures in place. She steps out, kind of behind another door. Wait one moment, please. Walks up the door, closes it. A couple seconds later, she comes out of the door, sits back in her chair. He's gonna be down the hall, second door on your right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the help.
And may I ask your business, really quick?
We're here on orders from the king, our lord, Fair Isle.
And can I get your name, sweetie?
Sylvia Orelai.
She writes a quick note down on parchment. All right. Enjoy your night, young lady.
You too?
As you walk down the dimly lit halls of the precinct, again, near silent, you come upon a door. Black text reads across the frosted glass. Marty F. Constance.
Middle name is
I knock on the door.
Knocking on the door, about 5 or 6 seconds goes by as you hear a, "Come in," coming from inside the room.
I open the door and walk right in.
Walking right in, you're seeing a somewhat smallish room. These heatless torches on the sides of the walls. It doesn't appear to be like too hot inside. You see a man, middle-aged, sort of on the older side, actually. Dark brown beard, shaved head, sits behind a desk. He gets up. Can I help you?
We are looking into a mystery of disappearances. And we are on business from Lord Fair Isle. He has tasked us with finding out the reason for these disappearances and how to possibly stop them if there is a way.
You're here to ask about the children.
Yeah.
Yup.
I knew he was going to send somebody soon enough. What's your name?
Sylvia Orelai. And this is my friend Iljor and Arosi.
Interesting group. My name's Martin
We've been told
Constance.
that quite a few times.
I would presume so. I mean, Furbolg, Dragonborn, Fishfolk.
Tritons.
Man just threw out a racial slur.
I mean, you are Fishfolk, kind of. Basically.
Basically,
Yeah. It's a catch-all term. There's merfolk, you know, water elves.
He walks around his desk to the seats on the other side, kind of leans on his desk as you three are standing there in the doorway still, as he somewhat gestures you in. Come in, close the door behind yourselves. My name is Martin Constance. I've been a detective here for over 15 years and only recently took up this case full time. It was never their priority in the city for some reason. But what would you guys like to know? Or what do you know?
All we really know is there's been disappearances going on for over 100 years. Most of the victims are male, aged 8 to 17. They usually don't have any memories of their own disappearance, but they're usually left scarred, and a lot don't recover, and they are psychologically changed. They don't seem like the same people. Fair Isle told us that his best friend growing up was taken, and he was the victim of one of these disappearances, and he's never been the same way since his old friend. That's most of what we know.
Martin Constance crosses his arms, leans up from the desk, and walks towards a nearby window, peering out as the white moonlight graces the side of his face. You can see this abnormal, kind of weird crookedness about his face as he sits in the moonlight. Ankashar is failing, both economically and socially. I have my gripes about the laws that have been put into place as of recent, but that is either here nor there. Speaking on the topic of these missing persons, I want to be forthright in my involvement, as I was once one of those children. And I am the friend that Lord Fair Isle speaks of, though we don't talk much anymore. It's actually one of the reasons why I decided to become a detective and why I pushed this damn precinct so hard to work on this full time. And I've been at it for about a couple years now, but I suppose we just need an extra set of eyes, which is, I'm presuming, why you're all here. My passion to solve this mystery is fueled by the fires of revenge. Doubt not my integrity. As we will pause here.
I think you're muted, Vasic, by the way.
Oh no, I've been silent.
Okay.
Oh no.
As we will now bring it to the Mages College portion.
The wizard.
The Wizard School.
This track gets very dramatic.
It is very dramatic, but it gets better. It's like one song within this thing. I'm just going to activate everybody here so everybody can see.
You do not own any tokens with vision in the sea.
Oh shit. Gotta move around.
I have the same
There's
thing.
nobody's out here, out in the premises.
Hold on.
It's just black.
Yeah, hold on.
It's 'cause you're blind.
When everything is black, it does tend to mean that you're blind.
Can you guys see what Nick sees now?
I'm still blinded.
See? So it's just a black square. The
It is
whole
not
map
a
is just a
black
black square.
Yeah, well, Nick, you got a token in
Liar.
here.
I do, I know.
You could
Just Ay. You're out cold.
Still black screen for everybody?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, I'll put your tokens in just so you can see what's going on.
We'll get
This
him.
little demon. His fucking
What the fuck?
arms limp, bro.
He is out.
Not cold. Oh shit, everybody's here. Alright, guys. It sounds much more
Well,
serious
bro.
now. Are we good to...
Yeah, everybody sees the scene, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys want to, like, follow along, but you guys are just not there.
We'll just be ghosts.
Yeah.
be fucking around?
Actually, you might be able to...
Can you attach us all to Nick?
He's turning you invisible.
I wonder if that works. Can you guys see each other?
I
Nope,
still
can't see.
can't see.
Nah,
Amos gone.
Well, you can't see at all, basically?
Can't see it all.
What about now?
Now I can see.
It's like Fog of War. Like,
yeah. Oh, now I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, hold on, get off
what
fucking-
you could do is assign a blank token that gives us all vision.
Oh, it's all good. It is what it is. So,
Yeah.
who just follow around as ghosts. So, coming upon the Magus College, Carlisle, Nanarian, you see this massive sort of circular-ish building with various columns, kind of castle-like coming up, almost like a mini Hogwarts a little bit. You come upon a set of double doors.
At least we fit the part.
I suppose so. Walking in. As you come upon this front entrance, you see a figure appear in the front.
Is this man an ooze?
You hear these words kind of not coming from the figure being a tall 6-foot apparition that appears in a blue haze, much like Cortana from Halo, for instance. See this figure, humanoid. You hear the words kind of booming, what seems like coming from the walls as this omnipresent voice. Welcome to the Magus College. You are in instance Ankashar 133 out of 467. My name is Mezzi, short for Mordenkainen's Arcane Zircon Intelligence. I am omnipresent at the Magus Colleges around the world. How can I assist you today?
My bad, what was that very last part?
How can I assist you today?
We just tell it what we're looking for, and I look to Carlisle. Have you been here?
I have not been here. We're looking for local documentation, newspapers, that sort of thing.
Yeah, local reporting.
The apparition quickly states, through the double doors, down the lobby, in the courtyard. Through the next set of double doors, you can go either right or left, and that'll take you to the library.
Understood.
Anything else I can help you with today?
I don't believe so.
Goodbye. The double doors swing open to a courtyard.
Odd.
Let's
It's paused right now. I can't believe
Oh,
it's
shit.
paused.
there you go.
There it is. Did you see
Interesting.
anything like that?
Interesting. He said through the double doors.
Nice, either right or left.
Hold on, let me see. I just want to make sure this works. Should work now. Carlisle says, right or left, take your pick. You know, based on what the very subtle detail Crete had given you during his instructions and application into what to do, you can practically sit anywhere on these benches and through the books that are there, sort of skim through magically. You can give it a date. You can give it like search keywords, that sort of thing. It's basically like an infinite book, but it's newspaper clippings, various events, flyers, like a local, compendium of various happenings around the area.
Well, is there a roll that we need to make, or like an investigation check?
With a keyword, sure.
Okay.
My shit's kind of laggy. I'm gonna have Carlisle sit over here. In this one.
So, trying to remember all the information we knew about this. I guess I'll just look for disappearances within the last 100 years.
Okay.
To start. Is it 22?
22. As you come up to the library, this well-lit, sort of circular dome-like structure with various books, kind of in a centerpiece is a small desk with nobody sitting behind it. You sit upon one of the benches, flip through the pages of this book, though no matter how far you turn, the end never seems to come. Pages always seem to accumulate. As you sit back for a moment and think of a key term, disappearances within the last 100 years. Close your eyes for a moment, reopen your eyes, the book seemingly sifting through papers magically. The first article that comes up, as you stated, within the last 100 years, is an incident that occurred in 1147. Though you know that these disappearances have been occurring for longer than the 70-something years ago this was, because it's 1179, this is in 47, but... you read on to this occurrence in 1147, and you immediately see the name Martin Constance, the name of the detective. You read that he was abducted, taken from his home as a young child. He was found 6 days later, wandering the streets of Lancashire, head shaved, and physical appearance slightly altered. It doesn't go in great detail, but it does say various physical aspects of his face were shaped oddly. He was admitted to a psychiatric ward shortly after, and very briefly goes into some detail about being mute for several days, and him exhibiting violent behaviors. You read a little bit about his parents, their concerns. It's not a very lengthy article, but you presume it to be one of the first that the city was then, at the time, connecting the dots of what was going on around here. It does speak briefly of his first words. Though they were less of words, but more so a description. You see a scribble, like a artist's rendition of something that this child had scribbled on a piece of paper, and you see it sort of looks like a star, but like a slightly crooked, bent star, almost like hooks. Like I said, the article's short, but it briefly describes this sort of thing and this mystery behind it.
Do I recognize the symbol?
No.
I don't think I have any utility spells right now. No, nothing.
You could roll for it.
Like a history or a religion?
Either.
Arcana, history. Alright, we'll do a religion. Yo, 15.
15. Though many religions and historical artifacts around the world have depictions of stars, this hooked-like star doesn't appear to be an exact one-to-one to anything that you're aware of.
Okay.
Though the hookedness of each of the points is abnormal. Generally, it gives off this kind of crooked feel, and therefore makes you feel a little uneasy, which would then in turn kind of lead you to believe that whatever this is, whatever he's depicting, whatever he saw, is more than likely not good in nature.
Uh-huh. Nick has an idea, but Narion doesn't know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna... That's all I find so far.
As you sort of flip the page, you
Actually,
find...
real quick, I'm gonna take like a piece of parchment or something and scribble that, like draw a copy of that symbol as close as I can, and then continue.
Okay. Let me just kind of, if I can, draw that real quick. It's going to be kind of scuffed. I tried this earlier, which is why I kind of made a drawing. But it kind of looks like... Oh, shit.
Hi, Basic.
Hello.
If you zoom in to the library, I'm going to try to draw it right here.
What is it? If you drag yourself?
You drag, and while you're holding onto the drag, hit shift, or was it shift then drag?
Something like that.
You drag first and then hold shift and then you let go.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of scribble that down and stuff in my robes and then continue reading.
Okay. Flipping the pages, you find various small local runaway children.
Huh?
Missing for a couple days, ran off to a friend's house, a cousin's house. Some never made it back. And then you start flipping. You see another article. 1171. Just 8 years prior. The child, Kendrick Corinne, abducted in a home invasion. 4 days later, he was found wandering the streets of Ankashar, seemingly mute and had grown extremely violent. He was admitted to the psychiatric facility and his records were sealed within. This article was a little bit lengthier, and perhaps that could be because there were, at the time, other occurrences that had a lot in common with this one. As like I said, the first article was a little short, and now this one seems to be going into more detail for some reason over just a missing child. He was admitted to the psychiatric facility, records sealed within. He was released 3 months after the incident, but eventually ran away from home again. In his testimony before he left, he told the story of his escape, though with somewhat inconsistent details, but the general synopsis was that he faked ingestion of a particular substance, an unknown substance, which gave him the upper hand in escaping. though where he escaped from, faces, all of the acute details was lost in his mind. He made that testimony several days before leaving and has never been found again.
Alright, does it say where, like, what facility he went to?
The facility,
Go there, records.
it does not list the name of the facility, though there is, as stated by Crete earlier in the night, that there was a psychiatric facility that once housed various amounts of patients in the Commodore area that had eventually shut down due to poor manning, funding, etc.
Is the building still there, though?
You don't know.
Alright, well, I'm gonna keep that in mind.
I'm going to pause here and bring it back.
I'm gonna get a drink.
Okay.
Sorry, buddy, damn.
So, Martin, is there anything important you remember from your disappearance at all?
Well, I don't remember much, and whatever was written down at the time, surely must have been what I was thinking, but again, sometimes I read back and it's not what I remember, and what I remember is next to nothing. A lot of those memories have faded. I can't even be sure if I was telling the truth or if any of that made any sense, but reading the records, I stated that there was some substance, some food that I ate. I remember basically losing my mind. Something was talking to me. Something was in my head. And anytime I think back, it's like there's a wall. There's a wall in that memory. Unfortunately, I don't have enough information to, even through magical means, figure any of that out. Whatever they had was fairly strong.
Well, this is more than we knew. Did you meet with any other victims?
I did. And I wanted to be clear that whatever you've read in the newspapers is only a fraction of what we found. We figure someone, whoever's doing this, whoever's out there, could be watching our moves. Could be hiding right under our nose, for all we know. So a lot of this is kept secret. Coming back to how the children are found, all of their hair is usually gone. Some, like myself, have slightly distorted physical characteristics, though you can't really tell because I've grown a beard to guise that fact. But others have gone completely insane. Most are admitted and sent elsewhere. Few overcome their psychological burden. The one thing is for certain, the first 6 hours are crucial. Upon finding a missing person, that's the best time to question, to test, before they eventually lose it. We've only had a couple instances where we've been able to take advantage of that, which is going to lead me into a couple leads that we found over the short amount of time. We have several suspects, and currently, as of today, are dealing with 3 missing children. As he reaches in his desk and takes out 3 pictures. Anton, aged 13. Morgan, aged 17. Sven, aged 14. As you look down at these pictures, all young children, males, a human, seemingly half-elf, and another human.
Have something.
Have any of the statistics of who has been taken changed over the time that they've been going on?
We have no indication that these individuals are targeting elves, or humans, or dwarves, or men of a certain age. Based on their findings, or them being found with sometimes with these orange robes and bald and just exhibiting these weird behaviors, leads me to believe there's some organization taking children under their wing.
Now, what is is there like an average time between when a child is taken and when they happen to show up again?
It could be anywhere from 6 days to 2 weeks. We have found nobody before 6 days of reporting. But I don't think that has anything in particular to do with what goes on or what they partake in. To me, that's irrelevant.
Well, how long have these 3 children been missing?
They've all been missing within the last 3 weeks. Hell, I would want to say probably a little over a month for, I think, Sven here. But
And is that uncommon?
not necessarily. It's a little on the far side, but going back, sifting through cases from decades ago, there's been children missing for as long as 6 months to a year. So, who knows? Let's get down to exactly where we're at in the investigation, because it seems like we kind of understand, or have an understanding here, that children have gone missing, and it's a big mystery to us. We've had several suspects over the decades. Jim Caruso, owner of the Vagabond Deli, called in for questioning about 20 years ago or so. Some children had described seeing depictions of a beast with many heads. It just so happens that Mr. Caruso's shop has a distinct logo, a hydra. We searched his home, his shop, his family's homes, even his family on vacation we went to see. But we found nothing. The logo is... it's a hydra. I mean, it's the body of a beast with heads kind of sprawling out. It's looked to be what some of the children had been describing, but again, there was nothing to go off of. The case kind of ran cold.
Were you able to question anyone so far within the first 6 hours of their... is it... You said the crucial time was within 6 hours of their return?
Yes.
Or just...
Yes.
Okay.
Anything after 6 hours, they begin to degrade in their mental capacity. Their memories start to fade. It just becomes lost.
Were you able to question anybody in that time?
2 individuals, which is what the majority of our information comes from. Seeing a distinct logo, a multi-headed beast, the ingestion of a substance. Though we've done medical testing, both magical and non-magical, the substance is just too small in traces to be identified. There's something psychologically, something chemically that's affecting them, but we haven't been able to trace it back.
So, did this the voices that enter their minds, is it telling them to do something?
I don't know. They describe hearing a voice, but you gotta realize when we find these children, they're all but mute. I mean, it's not like they go on and on in their descriptions. I mean, we get little words at a time. I mean, it's painful trying to question these individuals.
Yeah.
For now, our action, of course, now is just keep digging and looking into documents, looking into past cases, seeing if there's some point of connection, some sort of another similarity that we can find, maybe an old case that brings new evidence to light.
Do you think this Jim Caruso is hiding anything?
I doubt it. Jim died a little over 10 years ago, and these still happen. Though I can't discount a role he might have been playing. We found nothing. Again, searching his home after death, searching his shop being passed down to a son of his who we have no reason to suspect. Perhaps Jim was hiding something. Perhaps he knew something, but that's all lost.
Is there a consistent kind of food that this substance is found in?
Well, like I said, we haven't been able to identify the substance. It's too small in traces, and they can't describe what they ate, whether it was food or whether it was a pill of some sort or an inhalant. Nobody knows. Here's where we're at right now, currently.
Okay.
As he takes a seat behind his desk, sitting in the dim light. Stanislaw Ungren, age 16. Found on the north side of Isle Street here in Akashar. Just a little over a month ago. You could try your luck and see if maybe you can get it through to him, but last I heard, he's been unresponsive for over a week now.
He was found when and where again?
The north side of Isle Street, just Ankashar. Just north here. Wandering the streets, bald, orange robes. Same deal. Fortunately, he was too far gone and must have been wandering for a long time before we got to him, but he's currently sitting at the hospital here in Ankashar in treatment. It's been 3 months, and usually around that time they tend to release individuals back to their parents or provide them up to an adoption facility or...
And how old was he?
He's 16.
16, okay. Thank you.
One more question. Is there any correlation between how long they've gone missing and how different they come back?
There is, actually. Seemingly, the longer they are gone, the more violent they are when they are found. I don't know if that's a byproduct of whatever they've gone through, whatever they've partaken in. But that's really the only limiting factor in times. Them lashing out at nurses themselves at times. The time to recovery is much longer as well. You see a lot of individuals just run away. Though we can't be sure if they were taken again or... Some are never heard from again. Some of them are found in adjacent villages with other family or friends or looking like completely different people.
These orange robes, do they have any special characteristics that, like markings or anything that make them unique?
They are quite simply just orange robes with a bit of rope tied at the waist. I think they're meant to be indistinguishable. I don't think they're meant to be seen as a symbol of something. Whoever wears these and whoever puts these on, these individuals are mean to be anonymous. Strolling back to the Mages College. Sifting through more books, Anarian.
Who put a dot? Oh no, they're not dots on the floor. Okay. Are they like lights?
Yeah, presumably. Further research into missing children, Anarian. An incident that happened not too long ago. A article about a runaway child. Missing for only a couple days, but was found in an adjacent village just outside the city. There doesn't seem to be anything unique, or I'm sorry, there doesn't seem to be anything similar to what was found about the other children. Though this short article about this missing child for a couple days was found at a nearby family's residence. When the child was found, though, he describes an interesting encounter. Multiple encounters, in fact, with a bald individual wearing orange robes. This slight detail, perhaps overlooked or not investigated thoroughly, for lack of better terms, just a seemingly one-off line in an article about a young boy running into this individual. The man seemingly asking questions like, "Are you lost? Are you okay?" Before the boy eventually became spooked and ran away. Each time with this individual. The article's short and brief and explains that he was returned to his parents several days later. The more you read on about disappearances in Ankashar, the more you're kind of reading into sort of clouding your mind with the vast number of disappearances that may or may not have anything to do with what you're investigating. But that is what you have found so far in your investigation.
All right. And they said it was basically, did they say the figure was human?
It just describes
a bald man.
Yes, a bald man.
Okay.
As Carlisle is sifting through the books, are you finding anything?
Yeah, little stuff here and there.
I'm not finding anything I don't know already.
And I'll kind of toss it and show him the article I had just read. Or like spin the book around and let him read it.
This beast.
It's not a lot, but it proves that there's someone, a person doing it at least. It appears so.
This beast, this multi-headed beast. What are you thinking?
I don't know, it doesn't ring any bells when I looked at it.
I'm gonna continue looking. I feel like there's something we can get from this. I don't know what, though. Perhaps a point of contact or somebody that we can go see. As he continues to sift through the books.
Well, let's hope the others are gathering the other pieces that we need. But I'm gonna keep reading as well.
Just curious, Ryan, how long has it been at this point?
Since when?
One
Since-
eternity.
We separated.
I'd say about 45 minutes or so.
Just because we said we would check in 2 hours, so I was just wondering how close
Okay.
we were to that point.
We are currently waiting and looking for these 3 missing children. Though experiences in the past lead us to finding them on the streets.
Are there any areas in
I
particular?
apologize if I was unmuted when I blew my nose.
Oh, good.
Are there any areas in particular where you tend to find more children?
Let me think. I think a lot of them are found sort of in this area on the north side, but there's no correlation, as there's not like a 60-40, 90-10 split or anything. They are found throughout Ankashar.
Any organizations that would normally wear orange robe?
Cults, crime organizations, dark wizardry, orange robes in particular of this shade.
Fire, perhaps?
Whoever they are, they want to remain anonymous, and they're getting that side of the bargain. I spoke with many individuals, many experts. These are crafted. These are meant to be anonymous. Anything is possible. Anything is on the table.
We have a couple friends looking into this in other places. Heading to Decimity. As you may know, there's research going on there into this issue. And 2 who went to the Mages College. I'm trying to come up with a message for them with the spell Sending, and I'm not sure what they have found, but they might respond with some new information soon when I cast the spell. It is limited to 25 words, so I'm just writing, trying to figure out exactly what I want to convey. But my current message is Martin Constance is Lord Fair Isle's missing friend. Victims consume mind-altering substance before disappearance and come back with orange robes on. And read into Jim Caruso.
Caruso is an afterthought. That man is long dead. Whatever secrets he may have had are taken to the grave with him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But wouldn't hurt to perhaps investigate his shop once more. Maybe we've missed something, though I highly doubt it.
Could be somebody he knows, or perhaps that son of his that knows something. But we'll see once we get there.
So far,
What,
So I'll
One
change
more
it to
question.
research his shop then.
one more question. Have there been any families who have had either A, more than one child taken, or B, have had multiple generations of people who have been taken? Because it has been going on for over 100 years.
it has been going on for quite some time, and thinking back, I am not aware of any sort of multi-kidnapping, generational occurrence. These children come from various income families. It's completely random. I'm not aware of any sort of correlation. The children are all semi-independent. They, according to their families, not necessarily troublemakers, but either didn't have very many friends or were outcasts. Easy pickings, I assume, for an organization like this.
So that is one consistency about it?
If you ask me, they're recruiting for something. I don't know what. And it pisses me off anytime I think about that.
How many cases, if you've been keeping track, have there been with children who fit this MO but never return?
Martin kind of takes a deep breath, sits up in his chair, looks up. It's hard to say. It's hard to differentiate the runaway children versus those who have been taken under the wing of this person or persons unknown. We estimate roughly 20 to 30-ish, but the number could be vastly larger.
Nobody watching out for those loners. Who knows how many could be gone?
Stanislaw Ungren, this 16-year-old, is the only child we have right now that we have access to. Once he gets separated from the facility, I can't track his location. I'm not authorized to.
Very well. I
Thank you
just
for your
realized we may be able to utilize something in questioning. I have a spell called Zone of Truth. And although I don't know if it would count as deception to
I don't.
not have anything.
Would it work if they're unaware that they're lying?
Yeah, I'm curious if it's really in their minds, but they are unconsciously being deceptive because of some force. So it's worth a shot to cast that spell.
Suppose I never thought of it that way, though. The magic users I have under my... Interesting. Perhaps could look into that. I'm not familiar with magic in the slightest, but surely I can ask my men and figure that out. But good luck getting a word. Good luck getting a word out of these kids. We've tried so hard. Maybe a word or two, but this Stanislaw has been mute for well over a week. Perhaps he's too far gone, but...
I think we'll give it a shot. It's at least something. Thank you for your help.
If you need anything, just let me know.
We will.
If you find anything, of course.
We will.
He stands up. See the moonlight glistening in the window, torches faintly illuminating the room as he reaches out a hand to shake yours.
Shake it. It was good to meet you. Thanks for arranging this for us.
Likewise. And to you, Erosi, reaches out to shake your hand, and to Iljor as well.
Thank you.
My massive hand, like fully wrapping his small human hand.
It
should
might
probably
be a
go-
little early. I'm not sure exactly what time it is, but I think I want to cast the spell now.
Hmm. Once
Alright.
that's done, we
Well,
can
isn't it?
convene
Isn't it?
with-
I thought it was an area, or is it a zone
No,
around
there's
you?
there's no distance to sending. I'm talking about sending here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. So once we're out of that office area, I'm just gonna cast my spell
Okay.
and target Anarion. And so Anarion will hear, Martin Constance is Lord Fairisle's missing friend. Victims consume mind-altering substance before disappearance and come back with orange robes on. Research Jim
Caruso.
Caruso's shop.
And do I get to reply to this?
Yeah, you can reply it
In
with
the same
25
manner?
words. Yep.
All right.
Count your words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange symbol
Use
found.
wisely.
There's a one-off line about the kidnapper being a man who wears orange robes. Record sealed in old crazy hospital. That's it.
Records in Looney Bin heard.
Records in Arkham Asylum.
Sylvia, as you sit there, you feel these words burst through your mind. Reply from Anarion, just outside the precinct, stepping out.
Okay. He told me there was a line in some newspaper or something about a man in orange robes being behind this. Possibly. There's records in. Wait, what did you say? Records in where?
Records in the old crazy hospital, the old loony bin.
In an old crazy hospital, the psychiatric ward or something.
And then the symbol that he had mentioned as well, I think.
Did you transmit the symbol via sending?
Yeah.
Can you do that? It's just
Whatever.
words, right?
No, it's just words. It's just
Yeah.
words.
It'd be
Damn.
cool. It'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Whatever I
Art
think
and
that symbol
sending.
would sound like, I send.
As these messages are relayed, Sylvia, Iljor, and Erosi stepping out from the precinct into the rainy night. This rain is coming down hard. Interesting for a city in a desert. It appears Ankushar, though being the capital city, is somewhat vastly different and distinct from the harshness of Barajas. Anarion and Carlisle, as you sift through the remaining newspaper articles trying to gather information, you don't find anything that is detrimental to the investigation. Spending the remaining time trying to look through and try to pick out every word. The feat is just too small for two individuals as your eyes become strained and tired. Spending a good, I'd say at this point, it's nearly on 2 hours at the Magus College as these words are being sent. Not finding anything thus far. What is the current course of action?
I think you're muted.
I am muted. I'm gonna go find out if I can find where that old psychiatric facility was that he had mentioned.
Okay. How do you go about that?
Alright. I guess I'll go to the fucking precinct, see if I can meet up with them real quick, and then we can try and ask the sergeant.
Okay. Walking out from the Mages College,
You could have asked someone at the Mages College.
I guess.
we'll say the party eventually meets back up near the precinct as Iljor, Arosi, and Sylvia are talking amongst themselves about all the details that were just exchanged between you three and Martin Constance.
Yes.
Various depictions of
I show everybody that drawing of the symbol as well.
everybody did see it, right?
Yeah.
I might have been away from my keyboard for the moment.
Looks like a starfish mid-step.
I'll draw it. Kind of looks like this.
Oh, that's
But-
what that was. Yeah.
See, Eli got it based on my description.
Oh shit.
Well, no, I remember him
Uh,
drawing.
But Ryan, my guess, I want it to be we're at like a late night cafe, like sitting outside, like sipping coffee,
Okay. Well,
like in the rain, like very like noir type.
all right. Well, we'll say the party kind of steps off to the side and grabs a drink at a local shop. This late night, sort of open bar type facility that is housed by one individual. This small halfling male individual who doesn't talk but quickly gets you your drinks, whatever it may be, water, coffee, talking amongst yourselves. Again, about the various things described between you guys and Martin Constance and what Anarian has found at the Mages College, discussing the steps forward in this investigation.
So Stanislaw Ungren, that's what Martin said was the only kid they had contact with right now, that they were watching. He came back about 3 months ago, so he's in kind of a mute state. I'm getting so distracted.
I got you, brother.
Yes.
Damn it! My work of art was almost done.
Those balls are really getting to him.
And so we're thinking we meet up and talk to that kid tomorrow at some time. Or tonight, depending on if he's awake or available.
It's not too late. It's probably like around 9 p.m.
Okay.
I'd like to find out where this facility is that they took all these people to that had records sealed in it.
There might be people at.
So I'd like to make a quick distinction. There is a Ankashar hospital that is fully functional, that is like a regular hospital, and then there's the psychiatric facility in the part of town that's sort of long abandoned.
Defunct.
Yeah. And that's the one that supposedly, I think at least, supposedly had those records sealed in it, it said.
And Ungren's at the hospital.
Yeah, at the functioning hospital, the regular Ankashar hospital.
Yeah. So probably after we're finished up here, we go to Stanislaw at the hospital. Did you find anything about the mind-altering substances, or just Jim Caruso or his shop?
No. As I said, my biggest lead was the records at that closed down facility.
Well, all right.
Other than that, all I got was this strange symbol and the fact that the kidnapper also wears the orange robes and dons the bald head.
So, Jim Caruso's shop had a Hydra symbol on it. And Martin thinks there might be some ties into what they discovered in questioning for a couple of the kids who were found within the first 6 hours of their return. And they talked about seeing that multi-headed beast, as we already knew. But he thinks that symbol might be what they saw.
Yeah.
Well, if there's nothing else right now, guess we could head off.
I mean, you know, I'm not one for the, you know, doing the dangerous option really, but maybe exploring the old hospital
That's
might
what
be
I
the
think.
best way for us to spend our night tonight.
That's where I
And
would
then-
like to go.
And then we could
Um,
contact the child in the morning.
That might be for the best.
Are we relatively close to that area?
We don't know where
Like-
it's at yet. We still have
Oh,
to
we
ask.
don't know where it is? Okay.
Martin gave you the directions to the hospital to speak with.
Not the,
Mhm.
facility,
The kid,
not
but not to the old abandoned part.
Yeah.
Well, time might really be of the essence on the kid here because his mind is changing as we speak, and he may lose any ability to remember anything that happened to him.
Well, we could
By
send
the
somebody
morning.
for the kid then. I can go investigate this abandoned
Um,
building.
I think I should definitely be there for the kid.
I can go along with Anarion
All
to
right.
this hospital. Well, Iljor and Sylvia go to talk to the kid.
What about you, Carla?
Carlisle sits for but a moment. Exploring the abandoned hospital sounds fun, don't get me wrong. I worry about our safety. Sylvia,
Why is that?
well, it's dark, it's abandoned, and who knows what lies inside. But I think Rosi, Anarian, if you're traveling together, and where were you saying you were going, Iljor?
I'm going with Sylvia to the hospital.
I elected that route as well.
All right. We'll spend some time questioning the kid, and we're not guaranteed to get anything out of him. We don't know if he's really going to speak. But whenever we're done, we'll head over to the hospital, the abandoned one, if you are still over there.
Ready to go fight some vagrants?
Yes.
Good luck, boys.
We'll
Yes.
grab my broom.
So, following directions given to you by Marty to the hospital several blocks down the road, passing by many houses along the way, shrouded in darkness, a large structure resides on a large property deep within the city. The haunting windows of the palace-like structure are lit inside by torches as the occasional silhouette passes by. The torches at the front gate are magically lit green, and the gate door open for anyone who seeks medical treatment. Walking through the gate, the rain has been steady for quite some time now. As stated before, a rare occasion in a desert-like city like Ankashar. The droplets fall upon the cobblestone, creating a glistening glaze on the slightly discolored rocks. You walk down a long pathway surrounded by this lawn, coming upon the front doors of the hospital. Two men begin to open the doors for you, a half-elven man and a human. As soon as they open the doors, unaware of what you're here for. One of them asks, "Is this an emergency?"
No, it's not an emergency, but we're here to visit someone.
Very well. Go ahead and speak to the nurse right up ahead. As you kind of look, you see, much like the precinct is like a small open lobby with a desk kind of lined with a glass panel, and several nurses sitting behind it, doing work. The man kind of gestures as his job is seemingly to take on emergencies and attend to things in a much expeditious manner.
Mm-hmm.
He's the magical EMTs.
As you come upon the desk, several nurses, both men and women, mostly human and half elven, begin to scatter around doing things. One comes up to you on the other side of the glass. "Can I help you?"
Yeah, we're here to see, Stanislaw Ungren.
"Give me one moment." She reaches through documents, kind of unable to peer over the side exactly what she's looking into. The inside of this hospital is mainly houses several torches along the walls, but is magically lit, bright enough to have almost no distinguishable sort of versions between night and day. It's almost like stepping into a brightly lit building.
I'm just imagining like magical fluorescent bulb lighting, like the long tube lights.
Yeah, it's kind of like that lighting. Everything's very clean. She kind of sparses through her notes and begins to sort of fill out something and gets back to you. Right around a minute later, she asks, "And are you family or?"
We're
we're
friends.
We're not. No, Sylvia.
Okay, we are friends of Martin Constance, and we are trying to help him with an investigation, so we're just here to ask some questions to Stanislaw.
I keep telling that man that leave these children alone. They're so succumbed to whatever is happening. Look, he kind of gets a little scared with a lot of people. I can maybe admit one of you to speak with him, but I can't not let all three of you in.
What's your problem, Sylvia?
Yeah, I'm well-mannered with kids, and I won't ask anything disrespectful or make him uncomfortable. I'm going to try my best to keep my questions brief and be out of his hair in as little time as possible.
Fill out the sheet of parchment.
Sure.
I'll call your name when he's ready. So you take a piece of parchment, just minor details, name, small details about you that could be identified if need to, look back in the record. As you take a seat in the waiting room of the hospital, Anarian and Rosi, walking into the precinct, getting the information of the old psychiatric facility. Obtaining the details of exactly where this facility lies on Akashar grounds. It is to the south, but a few miles' journey. Walking along the streets of Akashar, you are met with very few individuals. The occasional dragonborn or dwarf along the side of the road, smoking a pipe and dimly lit torchlight, eyes you as you pass by. Night sounds, crickets, the occasional hound in the background, barking, keeping somebody up.
Borf, borf, borf.
spending some time to take in your surroundings, feeling somewhat uneasy. You come upon a plot of land. This facility is long abandoned. A very rough fence outlines its perimeter. As you gaze upon the multi-story building, it is not tall, but wide. Many, many windows along the walls. You count at least 30. A small cobblestone path leads its way to double doors to the middle of the facility. Signs written in various languages, Dwarvish, Elvish, all warn individuals to stay out. This abandoned property, either unsold or unwanted by those who wish to revamp this part of the city. It stands there, a relic of old Ankashar. There's not really any way in, though with a very minor perimeter check, you're able to find a loose part of a fence that you're able to kind of pull up and able to squeeze under. The lighting in this area is very dim. You'd have to have a very keen eye to see you in these parts, though you're not completely invisible, I should say. The grass below your feet is long dead. As you step up towards near the facility of the building, looking up in the windows, peering into the darkness, you feel
I had to turn it off and turn it back on.
eyes upon you, but from where you do not know. Coming up to the doors, one seems to be slightly ajar, though chains and locks keep it from being opened.
Weird, isn't it?
Is there another way up? Or another way in?
But it was Nathan's
Not that
concern.
you're aware of.
Because, well, we had to
Well-
use since they didn't test on the generator. Don't you
Bust open
break
the lock.
Well, I have a way to bust it open, but I don't know exactly how quiet it's gonna be.
No, like as if anybody's actively watching this place either.
Well, back up. And I summon my sword, point it at the lock, and cast Eldritch Blast.
Holy shit, okay.
Boom.
Bam!
As you produce your sword, this lick of flame, or however you describe it, you basically like control it, can't you? Or like it's
What do you mean?
like its physical appearance. Like it does give off light though, doesn't it?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, it kind of is like has this like purplish aura about it as it's summoned, like as it comes into being. Usually, I summon it with the sheath on, and I'll kind of like draw the sheath or like pull the sword away from it, and then the sheath will disappear.
As you produce your sword, illuminating the front part of the facility, casting Eldritch Blast at this mechanism that keeps the doors in place, this loud crack coming from your sword, cacophoning off the sides of the walls and into the city. You start to hear the barking of several hounds in the distance as you have just made a great deal of noise in trying to break into this facility.
It's fine.
Peering in though,
Got the Lord's orders.
it is straight darkness. I think you both have dark vision, correct?
Oh, I do.
I have blind sight up to 10 feet, but no dark vision.
Okay, so you can't see. Ordinarian, peering inside, you see a vast hallway with what look like various other hallways. This abandoned sort of facility, not kept up with. You see like a rat scurrying across. You see doors open. You see door frames without doors. You see various linens scattered across the ground, some papers. It is empty,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Okay.
Peering inside, or actually stepping inside, though, you are met with this smell of, like sulfur almost. This sort of dust atmosphere being sucked into your lungs and then back out again as you attempt to breathe this harsh, or in this harsh environment. Looking around, though, Orosi kind of trying to stay by Anarian's side as it is pitch black.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw out dancing lights for
Yeah.
him, so he has some vision.
Perfect.
I do have torches, but yeah, dancing lights will work.
Perfect. Dancing lights is Anarian produces dancing light. Those are like different colored lights, right?
It can be.
As orb, like they can appear as torches, lanterns, or glowing orbs. I think I get to pick the color.
Or a
So-
human shape.
It doesn't say that.
Producing these lights, Orosi, you
It does say
see.
vaguely.
You see basically what Anarian sees. You see this long hallway that eventually leads down to this sort of rotund area, the sort of centerpiece of the facility. Walking forward, you see to your left and right hallways that go down for an unknown distance. Doors open. You hear the sounds, very faint sounds, what may be voices or footsteps in the facility, remnants, perhaps old patients.
Keep my sword drawn.
Rosie's
Just
gonna
in case.
take out his gray axe and keep it by his side.
I may not have been joking about messing up some favorites.
Yeah, I can see. We're doing something alone here.
Let's continue.
Continuing on the inside, walking down to the rotund area in the center of the facility, you see kind of the same sort of architecture as the library at the Mages College, where you have a sort of desk, a round desk that would seat, say, a secretary or a nurse. And then where you guys are at, there's a long hallway. On the opposite side of the desk, there's another hallway that leads down. And then to the north and south, there are also two other main hallways. So those are kind of like the four hallways of the entire facility that also kind of house other small rooms and other hallways within. Papers are scattered about this facility. There are various benches that look to not have been sat in for years. A layer of dust, as you can see, kick up off the floor each time you walk. Lights illuminating a place that perhaps haven't seen light for many decades. It looks like this place was just left to fall. What is the first course of action?
Well, I'm looking for wherever the records might be kept, so if they're not in this desk area, then we just need to go down one of these hallways till we find it.
Yeah, search for offices of some kind, or perhaps a small library where they would keep everything.
Coming upon the main desk, the centerpiece of the facility, going behind, sifting through various paperwork, you're seeing a lot of it's either written in Dwarvish or Elvish. But in common, you eventually actually make an investigation check to see what you find. I have various different things that could occur here.
I only have common and draconic for languages, so this might be a little funky.
You said they're in various languages?
Yes.
I'm assuming some that I can't read, considering I only know Elvish, Draconic, and Infernal.
Nothing in Infernal, nothing in Draconic. Elvish, there is what seems to be like basing what you're seeing in Common, basing what you're seeing in Elvish. There seem to be a lot of the same information. They could be translations. They could be different records altogether.
Okay.
They could be in a separate pot of documentation that you're unaware of.
Gotcha.
But they're fairly similar in what sort of contents are inside. It's mainly like reports from various workers there. There was a structure. There was somebody who stayed there overnight, sort of their reportings. You see like times listed and doors checked, emergency exits checked. So this is kind of like a checklist of perhaps a skeleton crew that was going through stuff. You see lists of patients in their rooms, though you don't find any sort of integral documentation that would be specific to any one individual, but more so just a general overview of the comings and goings of the facility and things you would learn by talking to random individuals there if you had gone there during the time of operation. Coming back to the hospital eventually, 10, 20, perhaps even 30 minutes goes by, Sylvia, before you hear your name called. The lady that you spoke with behind the counter is long gone, but instead, a dwarvish female has taken her place. She calls out your name. Sylvia?
Yeah.
Come with me, darling.
All right.
Walking down the corridor of this hospital, looking to your left and right, trying to peer within the frosted glass of each of these rooms' doors. Some are slightly open, some are completely closed. You see patients sitting in their beds, either reading, sleeping, eating. These individuals of various races and from different backgrounds have no idea what they could be in here for. As you round the corner, and then another, you are taken back into a part of the hospital that not a lot of, visitors are allowed to go to. There is seemingly some sort of minor security measures in place with identification. You are led into a room. As you walk into the room, you see one of the walls is completely glass. Well, half of it's glass. On the other side of the glass is a room. 2 chairs. The dwarvish woman, upon letting you inside, closes the door. Give me like 5 minutes. I'll have him ready for you. You won't have very much time. We usually put him to bed here, fairly soon. So whatever you want to ask him, relay that to Marty and make it quick, please.
Sure.
Wait here. She goes. A couple of minutes goes by. You see a door within the other room begin to open. An elvish male leads, presumably, Stanislaw to the table. This young kid, human, 16, is just starting to grow his hair back. His eyes start around, bloodshot, kind of shaking.
Hi, Stanislaw.
You were in the opposite room. You were in the opposite room.
Oh.
You were not with him right now.
I thought it was already. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you're watching.
You're like outside like the supervillain cells in like a movie where they're like the clear polycarbonate, to like contain the criminal.
You were watching them bring this individual in. You see him, bloodshot eyes, kind of darting around, sort of unsure. Doesn't seem to be restrained in any way. So he kind of sits at the table, seemingly confused as the individual walks out. 30 seconds later, the dwarvish woman comes back in. He's ready.
All right.
She leads you out, around to the other door. You walk into a well-lit room. Stanislaw sitting across from you, a scene that you had just seen. The dwarf woman whispers as you walk past the door frame. Please, quickly. We will be watching.
Yeah.
She closes the door.
I go to sit down on the opposite side of the table.
This kid looks at you with confusion. No physical abnormalities that you're taking into account. This seemingly normal kid, though it doesn't look like he's gotten much sleep at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just looks at you in bewilderment.
Hi Stanislaw. I'm Sylvia, and I'm a Triton, so my kind come from the sea. So that's why I've got scales, gills, and webbed hands. I'm visiting you because I'm friends with Martin Constance. And I want to know what happened about 3 months ago. I don't expect you to tell me anything, and I want to earn your trust before anything else. I don't want to intrude on you or make you uncomfortable, so tell me if you want me to go, and I will. I'm a healer, so I help people in need. Is there anything you want right now? Anything that needs fixed or healed?
He looks over at the glass as you peer over. Something that almost like a one-way mirror, almost as if he knows someone that is watching. Looks over at you with no response.
Are you... Are you uncomfortable?
His bloodshot eyes still staring at you. No visible body language identification that would seem to confirm or deny. He's listening.
Okay. I'm just going to ask my questions now and be out of your hair after that. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but this might help. Any information that you have may help any other kid never have this happen to them again. So this might mean the end of disappearances like this. If you tell me anything that I don't already know about these disappearances that have been going on with other young men, do you know if you consumed any substance before you disappeared? Do you remember seeing a symbol of a multi-headed beast? Did you see any men who were dressed in orange robes? Is there... anything you remember happening leading up to coming back into the city? Did you hear a voice talking to you? Were you told what to do? Do you still feel like there's something in your head?
You see him
Is
take
there-
a gulp, almost swallowing, like he heard that, and his only visible body language, I guess, reaction, still not speaking.
Is something here right now speaking to you in any way, or watching?
No response. He's at this point kind of looking around, sort of uneasy.
Okay. Do you feel like you're in danger? Do you feel like your mind is in danger? Has this presence been there before you were taken?
You see him kind of reach over at a sheet of parchment on the table, take a bit of wax, and begin to slowly, almost ignoring you, start to draw.
I take out my own piece of parchment and draw the symbol that Anarion showed me. Is this familiar?
You see him visually start to feel uncomfortable and start to move around, start to frantically look around. You see him begin to mutter some almost like I don't even know how to describe it, like unintelligible, like scared noises as he eventually whips out a seat and begins to like look around.
I take it away, the symbol.
He gets up, he walks over to the other door, and he's just pounding on it. As you see immediately, looking down at whatever he drew, seems to have some sort of connotation, some intelligible design to it.
I take that piece of paper. That
The door behind you swings open as you take the piece of paper. That'll be all.
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry for that. I did not expect that to happen.
Tell Martin that this always happens.
I didn't expect him to go all fucking schizo on me, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize. I'll leave now. And I go back the way I came.
Being escorted back, the nurse brings you back to the main lobby where Iljor and Erosi
By the way, are there any flowers or anything that are in here?
in the waiting room.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Um,
I was
as
just like, because if there were, while Sophia was gone, I would have just been walking around like using magic to make the planes look nice.
the plants look. I mean, if there were, I mean, this place seems well kept up with. So, but anyways, as you see Sylvia come into the main waiting room area, sort of hurriedly walking as the nurse is kind of like, scurrying before getting behind the desk. She's, thank you for your time and have a great day. And is there anything else we can help you with?
When is Stanislaw being discharged? Is there a time for that?
It all depends on how his latest testing goes, but presumably within the next couple weeks. I don't have a definitive date.
Well, I wish him well, and please let him know I'm sorry, and I didn't mean to.
It's fine, young lady. Have a good night.
You too.
As you're kind of almost hurried out of the hospital back into the rainy night, you look down at the drawing, I presume.
Yeah. I don't take it out while I'm in the rain, but is there like a...
Oh, there's like a overhead kind of thing that's kind of blocking the rain.
Cool. Yeah, I take it out and show Iljor and Erosi.
You see.
I showed
thought
him...
it was an Arian.
No, it's a different symbol.
I'm thinking of Carlisle. I think I'm thinking of Carlisle, not Erosi.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
When I showed him the symbol
Are you trying to
that
show us the
Anarion...
symbol, Ryan?
I'm showing you what he drew. It's very scribbled.
Where is it?
You'll see it in quest items.
Alright. When I showed him the drawing that Anarion described, he freaked out and stood up and ran to the door.
None of the quest items are. What is it called?
Scribbled drawing.
I
We
don't
don't
see one.
see it yet.
Are you in journal?
Yeah.
You said go to quest items, yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
journal.
there.
Quest items.
Let me refresh.
I have
Maybe it's
amulet card, entries 2, and Waysphere amulet.
Yeah, even if I reload, it's still not there.
It's not gonna appear for you,
yeah.
Nick.
I reloaded and it's not there still.
What?
There we go.
Oh, there it is.
It's the same symbol.
Is it not loading?
It's the same symbol.
It's blank for me. I don't know why.
It's similar to the symbol, but it's not the same, I suppose.
I don't see the same thing. I'm seeing here, let me share my screen so you see what I'm talking about, because it's blank.
Yeah, you need to reload.
Try reloading.
Okay.
Because for me, that is there. I wish mine loaded that fast.
Oh yeah, there we go.
It's almost the same symbol, but it's not the same, right? Because wasn't one of them bent the other way or something? That you were scribbling, Ryan?
What?
Wasn't the symbol that you scribbled and this symbol not the same?
Not the exact same, no.
Okay.
So there's a few extra marks here. I'm interested to see what the little circles are about.
Well, and we know we had Tiamat explained to us, right? That she's like 5-headed and everything
Yeah.
Mhm.
at this point. Okay. Well, there's a lot of.
Because when I asked last time, you said I barely even knew about it, Ryan, and Rosie
Yeah.
was the only one that really had any knowledge about it, and the other two had like nothing.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was a discussion had about Tiamat though? Because I think
No,
I don't
I-
think
didn't have
so.
a direct discussion. He had mentioned the 5-headed thing, and I was curious about it.
Mm.
But that was it. That's the only time it was brought up, and that wasn't even
Yeah.
in character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sylvia definitely would not know.
So no. Because it's all multiples of 5. That's why I said.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's 5 dots, 5 spirals, 5 external symbols.
Well, I guess we can convene with Anarion and Carlisle. Or not sorry.
Erosi.
I'm right
Anarion
here.
and Erosi. Right. And
To the
we'll figure
abandoned-
out what this is about.
To the abandoned hospital, I suppose.
So yeah, I put it in my pocket and then
Do you want me to put it in the bag?
sure.
Narian and Erosi, as you sift through the documents while this is happening, you find you were trying to. Let me go back. Let me consult my notes real quick.
Records.
Yes, for
For the people that were specifically, I guess that one article but anybody that really had been here that from the similar situation.
oh yeah, Kendrick Corinne.
disappearances.
Kendrick Corinne.
That's what it was.
You, through the documentation, sifting through, reading through various records, trying to mull over and distinguish records that are useless information about certain drills that were going on, or textbooks regarding manuals, and certain watch coordination with the skeleton crew and the day crew. Just basically like nonsense documents that don't pertain to any particular patient, as these are all kind of basic information is lumped in with all this stuff. You don't find anything personal, any personal identification with these sets of documents, but you eventually find a old dusty manifest that kind of outlines certain rooms and a history of rooms. With that information and how the facility is kind of laid out, the name Corinne is found in the north wing in room 32. That is going to be not the way you came, but the opposite way.
Alright, as we can go see if there's any like old charts or something there.
Should be something.
Or any other
As you sort of conclude going through the set of paperwork at the desk, looking up, you see this sort of not dome-like, this sort of flat sort of ceiling above you, as the building itself is vastly rectangular. It doesn't appear to have much personality to it. The distinct sounds of water dripping, the rain sounds coming upon the rooftop, all kind of echoing throughout this abandoned facility. This sort of uneasiness, this sort of hair standing up on your on the back of your neck begins to not really get to you because you're kind of like both Arosi and Anarian. You guys are sort of well equipped to take on a challenge, but it's still uncomfortable to say the least. Sort of looking behind your backs, feeling like eyes are upon you at all times, walking down the north wing corridors of the abandoned facility, finding some remnants of some system of categorizing doors. It appears they're just numbered. Eventually coming upon room 32, the door is slightly ajar. Coming inside, you see a bed frame, no mattress. Scribbles along the walls, unintelligible. You see a dresser with the drawers taken out and sort of scattered along the floor. There is a door within the room. Or I should say a door frame with no door that leads to an adjacent room. This adjacent room also has a small, basically, cot and a desk, a metal desk with and each of these things has a thick layer of dust. Each step you make in this facility echoes throughout the hallways. It's hard to remain what's the word I'm looking for? Unseen, I guess, unheard. The metal desk, presumably the only sort of container within this room, is locked. Now this is like an internal lock, it's not like a padlock or anything, so
Eldritch Blast.
I think hey, what's the current course of action then?
I've had some.
Blast him multiple times.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
Eldritch Blast.
You know, of all the things I have, it's not a crowbar, but I do have a set of thieves' tools.
You can give it a shot.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make your roll.
Let me go ahead and make sure.
Are you proficient with these tools? Do you have to be proficient?
I am not
You have
proficient.
to have the
with
tool proficiency. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they're basically useless.
them. Unfortunate. I have thieves' tools, no proficiency for them. Well,
Would you give him proficiency for his background being in the Thieves Guild?
His background is not within the Thieves Guild, but
even then he was just a bodyguard at the Thieves Guild, so it's not like as if he was doing the actual thieving. He was the muscle. Well, I do have some pitons that we could try to jam into the lock, but otherwise,
some what?
I've got tools that I don't know how to use.
Pythons. You call them
Pitons, pitons, however you pronounce
the
it.
hell is that?
Climbing spikes to smash
Wow.
into things.
You can give it a shot.
Yeah?
I can't really. I mean, my last trick won't work here. I'll blow this thing apart.
I have a short sword as well. Actually, funny thing I want to note, we still have these message earrings. That
Oh yeah, why do we use
have
sending?
entirely forgotten about.
Oh yeah.
I'm just going along, dude. I'm just going along.
Yeah, Arosi is going
incredible.
to try to rip. Yeah, Rosie's gonna try to smash a piton into the lock and see if he can get the thing open.
What did I say? How far the rings went? I think it was a mile, right?
I don't think we set a strict limit.
How
Let
far
me
the
read the
what?
text for it.
I set a strict
The
limit.
earrings?
I think it was a mile.
Well, how far away are we?
You're more than a mile. You're a couple miles
More than
away.
a mile.
So I don't think it would have worked anyway. But I gotta look back. I'm pretty sure it was a mile though.
Wait, Ryan,
Okay.
were we within a mile of each other before when they were at the Mages College and we were at the...
probably maybe just within.
God damn
so
it.
maybe just
Could have
within.
saved the sending spell and could have just used the earrings.
Anyways, you're trying to smash a fucking.
Yeah, with smash this open with the aid of a piton. First on the lock, and then if not, then I'm going to see if I can try to wedge it between the drawer. I'm assuming this is a drawer mechanism with an internal lock, so that way I could probably smash a piton and try to wedge it open. That way.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I'm looking this shit up because I'm not familiar.
And I could just make a strength roll.
Well, a piton is basically just like a metal spike that's used for climbing.
Yeah,
How many of those do you have?
20.
They come in packs of a lot.
Okay. We'll say
Standard climbing gear kit.
Erosi, the best course of action he could probably take with this is to just kind of hammer them into the sides, get them in such a way that they are wedged in to the drawer,
Yeah.
and then through just brute force,
Lever.
yeah, lever, like just fucking either like kick him in or like use some sort of hammer-like structure.
Yeah.
So go ahead, make a strength roll for me.
Strength roll. So strong.
12.
Not
That's
very strong.
That's strong enough as these metal locks are long degraded. However, it does make a hell of a lot of sound as you go wedge the pitons in, and then through brute force at the same time sort of have them come forward and basically pry the drawer open. This loud bang cacophonies throughout the facility as you stop for but a moment, and you could hear the echoes of the smashed metal kind of drift off in the distance. For a moment, everything lies silent. The door swings open, or kind of swings out as you're met with various manila folders of not necessarily a day-to-day, but more so of like a weekly sort of report on a Corinne, first name Kendrick.
Corinne Kendrick.
That could be the jackpot.
Well,
I would like each of you to make an investigation check. You can each... So you both can roll and have separate rolls, or one person can roll with advantage.
What's your...
my bonus is 0, so.
Yeah, I'll roll with advantage. Probably be best.
Hey.
19. These records mainly house date of initialization, when he first came. Weekly reports, as well as quarterly reports on the mental health of the individual. Now, I believe the patient was who was there for 3 months. And as you kind of, in chronological order, read about the initialization when he first came, he talked, as you can see, inscriptions of whoever nurse was writing this in. The child was very odd, head shaved, brown eyes, didn't talk much, didn't get along with the other children in the facility. Sifting through a couple more, you see a weekly report. Very soon after he was admitted, would wake up in the middle of the night screaming. Anytime there was a group of more than 5 people, he would all of a sudden exhibit these PTSD-like symptoms. Screaming, getting violent, lashing out, attacking others, and sometimes himself. His blood was tested. A full physical was done. His motor skills weren't too terribly affected. as he could move about. He didn't sort of have any what is the word?
Disabilities.
Disabilities in moving about. His reaction time was fairly average. As the patient stayed longer and longer at the facility, the night terrors began to subside. He eventually grew, within his 6th week, to be, for the most part, mute. He would not exhibit any sort of emotional feelings. It did not seem that he would ever get sad or angry, with the exception of, again, the person's incident, if there was any more than 5 people. He spent the rest of his time, the last month and a half, staying out of trouble, not giving the nurses any sort of troubles. He read what books he could, never spoke about them. When he was released back to his parents, who eventually moved away. There's not much indicating like what happened afterwards, though a couple phrases that was heard either in the middle of the night or through mumblings were an amalgamation of what seemingly random words. Beginning. Coming. Era. Some of these words were maybe not in common, but in a different language. So the nurses involved cannot say for sure if they were the words that are commonly known in common, or if they were a completely different word altogether. No phrases. And after the patient became mute, there was nothing. Now, when the blood was tested, they found small traces of a chemical. This small, brief description is noted to be psychological and would chemically produce hallucinations. And that's probably the bulk of information you would find.
Well, a little bit more info, but not a whole lot.
And then that puts a nail in the coffin for us.
No. I'll take this folder and bring it back with us.
Probably about time. This place, not a lot scares me, but this place is giving me the creeps.
Are we within a mile now?
You could try.
Okay, I just try the earring and go. Anarion? Arosi?
And you do hear.
This is Fish actual. Do you copy?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, hi,
did you find
guys.
anything?
Not really much. Just more of the same strange.
They talk about the drug as being a hallucinogen, but Yeah,
There's a specific substance.
yeah, but nothing more than it's saying it's a
Does
drug that causes
Does it say what it's
hallucination.
called? Does it
No.
say what it is?
It does not say what it's called. That was not indicated in the record, but the description that was given by the individuals who tested it was just basically described as a hallucinogen, a very either long-lasting or very strong hallucinogen.
Hmm.
As you guys are kind of wrapping up at the facility, taking the folder, taking any other additional documents that could be looked through, making your way down the long corridor again hearing the pitter-patters of rain along the rooftop and what you could swear to be doors opening, the footsteps of heels down long hallways, sipping out of the facility back into the dark, rainy night. The night is silent. As I think you guys were kind of making your way to the facility as well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say for story purposes, I think you would have gotten that info from at least the hospital and begin to make your way there, because I don't think you knew where it was essentially before.
Yeah.
But they can kind of give you directions too through the earring or whatever. But eventually, meeting back up, you meet outside the abandoned psychiatric facility for the next course of action. For the next course of action.
Oh yeah. So we met with Stanislaw, and he didn't really say anything, but what he did do was draw this, and I show under whatever
First item.
roofing I can get under.
Oh, yeah.
I show him the drawing that he did.
I think I could show this the. Oh, what the fuck? This is like some V10 shit. Hold on.
Oh, it just showed up under player handouts.
Player handouts. Oh shit. Okay.
Okay, so it's a little different.
That's a symbol we already saw.
Yeah.
So did we?
Yeah, but I haven't seen it.
Oh.
Did you see these circles before?
No. The symbol that was drawn on the papers was just the center one with the tendrils.
I'm also curious about these lines, if they're like the extra ones. Anything special?
I'm sure there's something to them. This is all I found, and I'll hand the folder over. More of the same strange details, nothing hidden. Despite the fact that it was in a locked asylum.
I don't like this.
So our only other lead right now that I can think of highest importance would be probably Jim Caruso's shop.
Or whatever they're looking for in Yosemite.
Yeah, that's for tomorrow. But do we know where Jim Caruso's shop is? Did Martin say?
He did not provide that information. He didn't feel like it was worthwhile, but I mean, you guys could always check it out if you think it's a good enough lead.
I just at least want to see the sign, because the symbol might be helpful.
Clearer.
This
Am I able to make
drawing-
a check on this new updated symbol, since it's different?
What were you saying, Orosi?
I was gonna say, this drawing was a situation. the cult of Tiamat's had a thing for abducting people. It's usually a 5-headed dragon.
You mentioned Tiamat.
Yes.
What is Tiamat?
Could be.
Tiamat's a god of destruction.
She's
and
the
often
god of
takes
dragons.
of dragons, yes.
Hmm.
And not a very good one, to say the least. But she's represented with 5 heads. And this,
I mean, all the symbols on it are multiples of 5.
yes. Yeah. Don't like it. Unless the cult in this area has something related.
Arosi, do you remember anything in regards to this cult about kidnapping with hallucinations? Like, giving people substances?
I don't know about substances. I do recall there be a time in that year's span that we since left each other, who was doing work for the Thieves Guild. And I happened to wake up one night in a dungeon bearing their banner. Somebody came to save me, of course. And we got ourselves out of there. But as for the substances, I wouldn't know.
Okay. I asked this kid about voices and if he felt like anything was watching him. And I could tell that he had a different reaction. He gulped like he was... Like I said something that he knew deep down was true, and that it kind of struck a chord. So... something might still be watching him. So there may still be some kind of presence in those who have returned. I'm curious if with enough time that fades away, or if it's just... It seems like it did when it...
As you guys are kind of talking and walking, making your way
Downtown?
making your way throughout the city to another point, perhaps even maybe the precinct, just kind of walking, talking this through.
We're probably heading back to the inn. Or the palace at this point, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Late.
As you're kind of walking and talking, you hear the clacking of a horse-drawn carriage swiftly moving far off in the distance. Carlisle looks at you, Sylvia, Narosi. That symbol, it feels oddly familiar. I don't know what it is.
Do you think it has anything to do with what happened in Decimity? Whatever is going on there?
Maybe.
We'll find out tomorrow if they get any interesting information.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just... looking at that just feels all too familiar. As you guys continue to walk down the cold cobblestone roads in the middle of the night, making your way back. You guys come upon, off in the distance, something lying in the road.
That's not good.
Peering ahead, your attention is now brought to it as there's not really anything else along the streets. No people, no individuals. Just the soft, silent rain flooding the streets. Coming closer. A figure is seen donning robes. A child, not older than 15, head shaved, and coming closer, fingernails nearing several millimeters. This figure, this child, laying in the street. Seemingly untouched.
We'll transport him to the hospital right away. Can I just... Is he, like, collapsed on the ground, right?
Unconscious.
Yeah, I'm just gonna... Eldor's just gonna, like, kneel down, scoop him up, and just fucking... He's gonna cast...
Eldor, you have healing magic. Heal him. We can ask him questions now. Well, they say within the first 6 hours is crucial. Do it now.
As
That's
you
true.
pick up Ildor, as you pick the male up, he was sort of resting on his side. You scoop him up. He lies on his back in your arms, and you see a note across his robes. Something etched in Draconic.
Ooh.
Well,
And Arian, you
Rosie
could
can
read.
that.
I can
I
read
can
that.
read that, and Rosie can read it.
I will see if this works. Hold on, I'm gonna type it. Let's see, Draconic, right?
See.
Draconic. That is what you read.
Allo
Oh.
have to visit 07 number 3 O
I don't think I don't think that's what it says.
horizontal letter I.
No. This.
Does
I
that-
guess, like.
What's it
Ring
say?
any bells? Does Nerion know what that is?
Yeah,
I-
if you know Draconic, it should say.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. I can read it. The word in particular.
Basic knows, Orosi probably does not.
Yeah, that's my question. Does
Um,
Nerion know of that? of that?
Erosi, you would know because you have
What
done
does it
research.
say?
I have done research. It
It says
says
from Avernus comes light.
From Avernus.
Avernus.
And I will end session there. Erosi,
Lo-
you know.
long
and
session today.
and I will talk about it offline with you
Yeah.
to kind of go into a little bit greater detail so you can provide the party. Anarian, I don't think you would know, but Erosi definitely
Even
would.
okay, that's fair. I say even know an infernal, because doesn't it? Never mind.
Long session today, boys.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.